My boyfriend was trans and never told me. I took my boyfriend to meet my family one day and it was all going really well, they were all getting on great. My sister really liked him and said he was funny, and my brother knew him before and they get on great. It was when we were eating dinner that my grandma recognized him. She didn't say anything though. After he left I went back to my mum's for a while, and after everyone had left she asked me to stay a little bit longer because she wanted to talk to me. I sat down and she said there was something about my boyfriend that I needed to know, but she didn't know whether he had told me or not. I was really scared because I thought it was going to be something really bad, like he went to prison for domestic abuse or something, but it wasn't. She told me that before I met him he wanted to be a girl and was going to London for hormone treatment. His mum put it all over social media about his transition after he told her not to. When my mum told me, it was a big relief that it was nothing bad. After he started getting hormone treatment he soon changed his mind and said that he doesn't want to be a girl anymore, which I'm glad about because if he didn't I wouldn't be his girlfriend as I'm straight. My mum said she didn't want me to see him any differently because of his past, and I don't really care that he was trans before I even met him. I will always love him no matter his past, unless I found out he was a pedophile or something like that. The thing that hurt me a little, and the reason I'm making this post, is why didn't he tell me? Because we were best friends before we started dating and he knows everything about me and my past. I don't know whether it's something he's trying to forget. I think he was doing it for the wrong reasons. He has a sister and he told me himself he feels like his sister is the favorite child, so maybe that's the reason he wanted to be a girl, to maybe his parents might like him more. Now he is very different to how he was before. I would have never have thought in my life that he would be trans because he is the most masculine boy I have ever met. He is 6'4", constantly at the gym and always fighting. After finding out about his past I feel like he's very masculine to prove he is a man. I don't care that he was trans, I genuinely don't, but I'm just a little upset that he didn't tell me. I don't know what to think really. I'm a trans man, female to male. I'm at the point where I'm trying to keep it hidden from people because I just want to be seen as how I am. However, because I'm still actively transitioning and morality reasons, I have to tell my romantic interests. He's probably been through some of that and doesn't really want to relive the past, and he may be embarrassed about it. If I detransitioned I don't think I'd want to talk about it either. If I was you I'd bring it up, mention it and tell him it's nothing you're worried about and it doesn't bother you, but you would have liked if he was open to you. Just be respectful and I'm sure he'll open up. Is he certain he doesn't want to be a female in the future? I've seen this VOK out that a person backtracks because family pressure. Then they chose to do it in the future and destroyed the marriage for obvious reason. I think you need to find out his intentions, because it would suck that you invest years of your life for things to not go the way you desire. Maybe he is embarrassed by it. That's why he's working extra hard to prove he's a guy. Why not just bring it up to him? After what his mom did to betray his trust, I'm sure it's a very touchy subject for him. Why is he always fighting? Like getting into fistfights with people? You sound like exactly the kind of person I'd want to talk to if I was going through what he is. Don't feel hurt about his insecurities. His withholding is about how he feels, not about you. You can try to talk to him about this, but make sure your head is clear first. You don't want any of your hurt feelings seeping into the conversation. Always fighting. Just want to make sure this part doesn't get swept under the rug. Or would he want to attack me for pointing it out? What's the timeline of your relationship? How long were you friends and how long have you been dating? How long have you dated him? Did you ever ask him about his past? This is not an issue that you should be arguing over. This is an issue for open and honest communication. Good luck and Godspeed. Sorry, can you clarify the always fighting part? I think everyone has already given good tips how to talk with him about it. One question. How is his relationship with his mother? And what is your impression of her? Since she posted it all over the internet, it seems that she wanted to get a lot of attention with it. It could be that she kind of pushed him into the direction of becoming trans so she could get attention with it. Unfortunately, there are parents who are capable of such things. If that was the case, then he was severely emotionally abused by his mother. So it might also be a very traumatic and sensitive topic to him. Please keep in the back of your mind that this can be an option, so if he responds quite emotionally, keep in the back of your mind that trauma might be the reason for that. For clarification, is he fighting in gym or getting into bar fights? His mum put it all over social media about his transition after he told her not to. How could the OP's mother possibly know this just from seeing these old Facebook posts? Surely that aspect of the situation wasn't broadcast on social media. I'm thinking this is a ideology baiting troll post. Question you might want to think about here is, do you want him to tell you to understand him? Or do you want him to tell you so he has not secrets from you? Most likely he has put this in the past and might not be comfortable even admitting it happened. Go slow and consider if you have any secrets that you don't want to just blurt out to him. Talk to him directly about it in private. He probably had his own reasons as to why he felt he couldn't tell you. Perhaps the fear and anxiety of not being accepted or being looked at differently. Communication is key, mate. I see what anyone says, but although I respect the way you approach this, many people including me would react much more angry. It should be illegal to hide something like that. Okay. This might sound unpopular, but I think you should leave him. Unless you are ready for him to one day start to want to transition into a female. Think long term. I could handle a man who had some gay experiment or something who tells me he's bisexual but wants me completely and will be faithful. I wouldn't be able to handle trans issues and start with a man and end with a woman. I think you should tell him ASAP that you know. Ask him why he chose not to share this with you, but be prepared for a vague or unfocused answer. The process of transitioning then detransitioning seems like it would be really complicated and stressful experience, so he's not going to have just one reason that he chose to withhold his history from you. It can be painful for people who are trans to tell their stories of transition. It is likely a difficult thing for your boyfriend to discuss as well. Why does it matter? He was confused at a certain point in his life and started to make the changes to rectify what he saw as an imbalance. He eventually decided against it, and that's that. It's like me going out, sucking some dick and then deciding against it because I didn't like it and never did it again. You know what I mean? He made a choice, decided that it was the wrong one and reverted back to his former self. I think you're reading into this a little too much. He wants to forget about it and move on. You should also forget it and move on. Bringing it up would just embarrass him. Okay. Your boyfriend wasn't trans. Maybe he thought he was, but he never was. Being trans isn't like being goth. It's not a phase or a style you can try out. He thought he was, turns out he wasn't. I don't think it's that much of a big deal. But he was never trans. Personally, as a trans woman who is currently hiding that fact from my whole family, I don't think your boyfriend is obligated to tell you anything. I say this because it's been made clear that this was something that happened in the past, meaning it shouldn't affect you currently. If he feels like a man now, that's what you should care about. And even if he decides that he is actually trans later in life, as long as you're still with him, that shouldn't be a deal breaker, assuming you got with him because you liked him for who he was on the inside, not what he was on the outside.